Hello, fellow Hunters of the Blue, and welcome to another P.A.B. session. Yes, I have no hair now. You will have to deal with it. It's not like I had a lot of hair to begin with. Um, uh, if anyone can check if you can hear me well, it would be helpful. And as you know, the P.A.B. it's a place where I like to answer questions that are bothering you with your painting or with the channel if you want to know something about it, upcoming projects, whatever Q&A you want to do. But it's mainly a way so we can help each other and grow as artists and as hobbyists, because we all have something that we kind of haven't figured out yet, and I think it's a great way to help each other. Oh, perfect. Everyone is hearing me well. So, before we start, you can start asking questions. I'm going to news about the upcoming videos. So the the next video will be one for the Curse City box set. It will be a skeleton. I've already talked about it, but it's already finished. I'm just waiting for the basing supplies to come so I can base it and move on. But in the meantime, if you want to see it, oh, there he is. Well, there. Quite beautiful indeed. I'm really proud of this one. This is probably one of my best paint jobs for the channel. Something that I'm really excited about showing you, and I hope it's a very good video. I had a bit of problems with the autofocus in my last video, so I'm turning down to manual focus for this one. So let's hope, fingers crossed, that everything is right. I haven't checked every single minute of the footage, but it seems to be okay. So as soon as I can edit this video, here you can see him on the back. We will see. I'm not going to wait until Friday to release this. So once I have the basing done and once I have the video edited, you will see this as soon as I can post it. Probably if I finish it during the night, it will be in the next day, around midday, around 4 o'clock local time here in Spain. So think about that. But yeah, really excited about showing this. On Friday next week, there will be a basing video for Curse City. I'm really excited about that too. It's a sponsorship with Spellcraft, so I will be using Spellcraft bits for the basing, but I will also be showing you how you can sculpt this using green stuff. So whatever, pick and choose. But I really recommend you go and check Spellcraft, because they make some pretty amazing basing materials. So with that out of the way, let's please begin putting your questions in the chat, and we'll be very glad to answer them. As always, I will be here for about an hour and a half. As long as you keep asking questions, I will be answering them, so feel free to do that. Hello everyone. Hello Anthony, Yves, Tom, Oliver, and Marcelo. And Anthony's asking the question: have you got a way to approach big projects like Curse City? Well, yes, I do actually. The only way that you can chunk through that amount of models is fast, because of course you can always do it slowly. that's always been my personal choice. But if you want to go fast, you need to design your paint jobs from the ground up so they can be fast. So you cannot go and try to paint it and then while you are painting figure out how you can go faster. Oh no, as I am already talking all the time in this video, I don't like to put background music, but if you guys want background music, feel free to let me know, and I will be adding it immediately, basically. It's not that difficult. But yeah, you need to design your paint jobs from the ground up to be able to be painted fast. That is very important. You cannot really go, as I said, midway through a project and try to speed it up. So that's what I did for... I have only 2 painted armies. One is the Listman, which took me 5 years. Painted to a really high standard for me. I'm really happy with them. I'm really proud of them. And then I have my Undead, which took me 5 months. And the way I reduced the time from 5 years to 5 months is designing every single recipe for that project in a way that it could be painted fast, but still looking good. Of course, we don't want... I have nothing against people that just, you know, basic colors, dry brush, wash and dry brush and cut a day. That's perfectly okay, but that's not for me. I like a bit more, you know, spice to my models, a bit more quality. So I designed the recipe, which is the ghost recipe that you can see in my channel and how to paint ghosts video. I designed the recipe just for my army. So almost everything is painted like that. Skeleton zombies are painted like that. I also developed the how to paint ethereal metal recipe, which is in another video, which you can also check. And that's basically how everything is painted. And I added a bit of bone here and there, and and for the bigger, more characterful models, I used the purple NMM, which is not fast, but there were just 4 models that used it in the whole army, so it's not that big of a deal. So that's basically that's how I approach painting large projects. It's just designing them from the ground up to be fast. For the Cursed City, I'm basically probably only will be painting all the models that I paint for the videos. I highly doubt I paint anymore, but if I do, I will probably skip most of the highlights and then just do, as you will see in the video, a zenithal priming, contrast all over, and then probably one single highlight for the rest of the models, because I just cannot be bothered to take about 12 hours to paint each model, because I won't be painting those. That is a project designed to fail from the very beginning. So next question, Juan Antonio Rebollo. Hi Juan, are you planning to do more stuff on 3D printing? Yes. Sadly, I've been extremely busy with work, like ridiculously busy, and all the 3D printing videos are recorded in my workshop, which means during work hours, which means that I haven't been able to do any. But I have several projects. The only thing is that you won't be seeing them in this channel. I have a second channel that I started just for the 3D printing videos, but I haven't been able to post it. Let me get a link for you so you can go and get it and subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Of course, again, as I said, it will come with time. So please be patient while I check through the ridiculous amount of work that I'm having lately. So this is the link to my 3D printing channel. It's the Printing Goldsmith. And you will see there videos about 3D printing, printer reviews, but also about goldsmithing and all those kind of cool stuff. There are only 3 videos, which are the 3 videos of 3D printing that I did for this channel. This will be there. And for the most part, except I find a really interesting project for this channel, I won't be uploading any more 3D printing videos here, but I will be on the other channel. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name, sorry, but it's asking where can we find pictures of your armies? You probably can't actually. I have a painting blog that I used to do during the Listman Army project that I will link down there in a minute. If you excuse me just 1 second. Sorry, I was just having to blow my nose, and I doubt that will be pleasing for all you guys. So I will link that my blog post for the Lizardman army, but I'm not sure if I have the undead there. Just a second. I cannot really do two things at once, or my brain just shuts up. Okay, if you follow that link that I added, that's the Lizardman army project block. Just go there and you will probably see a lot of pictures of my journey through the Lizardman army. It's just a long post, but I stopped posting there just because it's a place that I really love. They even made me moderator at some point. It was amazing. If you are remotely interested in Lizardman or Seraphon, go and join that forum. It's absolutely a great place to be, but just can't be there anymore with this. The work and everything is just not. I haven't been there for ages, as they deserve, sadly. Okay, Tyrannosaur. Hello. I love Tyrannosaur. If you want an amazing channel that it's absolutely incredible and it's everything there, it's made for a great cause, which is the Michael J. Fox Foundation. Go and check Tyrannosaur's channel. It's absolutely worth it. Tyrannosaur is asking, now you are painting Curiosity for play, right? I think you said you are not selling them. I'm not sure what I will do with them. We want to try the game. Me and my wife at some point again. We are just so tired, and it's quite a time-consuming game to play. So we will play, and if she likes it, or if I can find a group of people to play it, I will be playing it. And if I don't, I will be selling them because I have no use for them. Although they are really cool, I was really looking forward to painting them. That's the reality. I really hate to have models unused on a display case or whatever. That's a bit sad for me. Okay, hello from Los Angeles. Hello, Austin. Nice to meet you. What's your win-loss ratio? Are you competitive? I am extremely competitive. I'm ridiculously competitive, especially it's a bit weird because many people already know this, but I only play 2 games. I play Dead Zone and I play Kings of War exclusively. I have no time for any other game system. Those two basically tick all the boxes for me. In every single level possible, and I'm really happy with them, and I'm really not really looking forward to anything, because at least for me, again, this is very personal opinion, anything apart from those games will just be worse, so I see no point in playing something that is worse. And yes, I'm extremely competitive, but especially playing Kings of War. So we have 2 games. We have Kings of War on one side, and we have Dead Zone on the other, and they are very different games. Kings of War, it's really incredible. The tactical detail that you can go in that game is absolutely incredible. And there are people that play it so well that if you are a new player, you just cannot win the game against them, no matter what you do. Even if they don't take a well-designed army, they will probably just crush you, because it's that kind of game. You really need to know the ins and outs of that game to really play at a competitive level. And I'm really competitive playing Kings of War. Kings of War is played that is Kings of War is a game that is not played with a smile. You won't see, if you go to a Kings of War tournament, you won't see anyone smiling while it's playing Kings of War. There are no laughs. There is just concentration and very serious people playing Kings of War. But it's a fantastic game. And then you have Dead Zone on the other side, which is the absolute opposite. It's a fun, quick game. You will always see people laughing. You will see people having a fantastic time playing it. And they both do different things for me, and I love both of them. And I'm extremely competitive while playing Kings of War, and I'm like really, really competitive. I really like to win there. And when I play Dead Zone, I just don't care. I just want to have fun, and it's a very relaxed game for me. And it's a game that is designed to have that kind of feeling of fun and relaxed gameplay. And even if you're playing a very competitive tournament, which I've been there, it's just a different atmosphere, and it's just wonderful. So when I go to the UK to play, not anymore, of course, I usually try to book an event that has both games, so I can have fun and light-hearted gameplay, and I can have like really mad, concentrated, intense gameplay at the same time, which is what I really like. Yeah, Anthony is talking about the how to start a very complicated project. Says design to fail from the beginning sounds like my army project. Yes, that is something that really happens. So yeah, you really need to think about really well what you do, because and you have to design it well. Otherwise, you will just fail. Painting a large army, painting a large game like Curse City, if you don't have a plan, you will probably just be miserable and fail at some point. Yeah, I have fun to hear for friends but from my name. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, your channel is great, but don't overdo it. Yeah, I know. I'm not. That's why I'm not posting tutorials every week. It's just I'm just compromising to do one every other week, because otherwise I would just burn myself. But I was really excited about painting the Crusader skeleton, so that's why this one has been faster. And I'm also really looking forward to painting the zombie, so that will probably be the week after the basing. Not sure if it will be on Friday. Maybe it will be during the weekend, because I think on the Friday I will make, yeah, that sounds like Friday the 7th of May sounds like a perfect date to make the next Royal Retinue review, which sounds amazing. I'm really looking forward for that. So that will probably be that Friday, and the zombie video will be along that week at some point or other. And after that, I will probably stop the Curse City for 1 week, and I will probably do a Seraphon. So really looking forward for that. I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I was just talking about that. So yeah, what is your progress on upcoming Curse City model? Yeah, it will be a zombie, because I really like to start with the basic models, because you will paint in the most of them. And I think there's a good idea to start with those kind of rubble, and then just do a couple of characters for flavor, and then jump to another couple of basic models. Lohengrin Vogler, thank you for your support. Hello Juan, I decided to start in my journey in the miniatures world by painting and Slaanesh army, the mortals ones, not the demons. Inspired by your videos, we'll try to adapt as many techniques as I can. Thank you. I want to make a video about Slaanesh mortals. I love those models, but there's just so many models to paint, and not enough time. I just cannot be making videos every single day of the week. I wish I could. That would mean I will be living off my channel, which that is not the case. We are not there, not by a long shot. But thanks to people like you and other generous people like Aboth and like Anthony Fisher, I'm closer and closer each month to that goal. Slowly but surely. I'm not in a hurry, but I'm just enjoying the journey. So thank you very much. And I will paint a Slaanesh mortal, probably from the Underworld's Warband, because that's a really convenient way of purchasing models. But when I'm not sure, because right now the speed at which GW releases new models is just way too much for me to keep up. It's just not possible. Hello, hola, Draxturin. Lovely paint job on the skeleton. What is the base size now? It's 25 millimeters bigger. It's 25 mils. On the basic, the zombies and the skeletons, they have 25. All the characters have 32s, and the big guys have 40s, and the big like vampire creature has 50. Which I will be painting, by the way, on the channel, which is rare because I hate painting large models, but I want to paint that one. Okay, I don't know if you have painted one yourself, and I'm sure it was pre-contrast, but if you did, but which blue contrast paints would you suggest using on the High Elf Phoenix? I haven't painted a High Elf Phoenix. It's a model that, personally, I don't like. Not because the model is not cool, I think the model is beautiful. My problem with it is you have a model that is this big, and the base is this big, so it's really impractical. I hate models that go over their bases like a lot, so it's really hard fit for me. And I always wanted my High Elf army was always centered around Seaguard, so that doesn't really fit with the Phoenix, so I have Flying Chariots. As for contrast colors, I will 100% sure start with the whitest undercoat you can. So for me that will be Corax white. I will probably do either a dry brush. Being a large model, I will probably do a dry brush with a very soft brush using pure white, just to make it really, really white. And then I will start with Aethermatic blue. Probably a couple of coats of this, one all over, or one thin with medium all over, and then start shading, like doing through the wings. You know, if the GW wings are made like staircases, so I will probably apply more contrast paint in this where one goes under the other, and start building a gradient. Apply it, clean the brush, feather it out. And you can build an amazing shading that way really quickly. And then you can go two routes. I would probably go with Talasar blue because it's very intense blue, and then move into Leviathan blue if you want like extra shading here and there, which you will probably need to add a bit more differentiation. But yeah, that would be my approach. I will try to avoid Achillean green, which is not green, just because it's a bit you want to convey the sense of cold. Of course, I am talking about the Frost Phoenix, which you're probably asking about the Fire Phoenix, but well, no, because you asked about blue contrast paint. So yeah, I will try to avoid Achillean green because it's a bit too much green. And I will try to go with the coldest possible, which is Talasar blue. If you had more time, Austin Thornhill, what other games would you like to play? I said I just can't be bothered with any other games. It's not about time. It's just I just don't care about them. I love the GW models. They are the best models by far. It's not even a competition. It's just. They are on another level. But in terms of rules, GW has never been a good rule maker. They have always make not shit rules, because that would be unfair. The rules are not that bad, but they are, compared to things like Kings of War, which I consider the peak of tactical rules, and compared to Dead Zone, which I consider the peak of the absolute best skirmish game ever made. This is just, I just see no point in playing other systems, but I just won't add anything to my life, really. it's just more rules in my head, and I'm not interested in it. I just want to paint the models because they are beautiful. And I can use the GW models in Gears of War, which is a plus. And the 40k models, I just sell them because I love to paint them, but I don't want to keep them. Except for my Janden, which I have a very fond love of. And they sit very prettily on my shelf right there, and I'm happy like that. Blueprint recommendations, wrong place. Yeah, partly I'm not the best blue. I can't paint blue, but it's just there is just a shade of blue that is so unpleasing to paint. It's just really, really not pleasing to paint, and that is my issue with it. Yeah, but my main problem, Mark is saying that he was planning to make like a big display base and they just take it out when they're playing. My main issue is during gameplay. If you play if you play Kings of War, which is the system that I think about, you base position is really important. So I know that model will spend more time on the side of the table, and an empty base will be just there in its place. That it will be just ridiculous. So I just prefer not to use it because I want my models to be on the table and not on the side with a piece of plastic representing them. That's just very annoying to me. Yeah, they are good rules, or they had the potential to be good rules, but as Mark Action has just pointed, they are badly written rules, and they're really badly written rules. Yeah, new haircut. Well, just as simple as no hair, really. Yeah, the wingspan is so huge that the small base is the same for the plastic dragon. Really, yeah, that's why I don't have. I do have a dragon. I have a plan of using the Dark Elf dragon, which is really compact as a dragon. It's not like leaning forwards, flying over the base. And in Kings of War, dragons use a 75 a square base. So the Dark Elf dragon being upwards and really compact, except for the wings, of course, seems like the best option for the dragon for me. So I'm going to try to make a conversion using the Dark Elf dragon and the old metal Dragon Lord. The one has a horn and a spear. It's like this. I really love that model, so I'm going to try make a conversion with that. That's another project that will be, I don't know whenever, you know. I almost have no time for this. It's ridiculous. It seems like you have a lot of time, and then you realize that you really don't have any time at all. Yeah, that's things that just happen. Being during the lockdown for me was partly amazing because I just could do everything that I always wanted to do hobby-wise that I just couldn't, and I just really didn't care very much about the other stuff because I could be self-employed and working alone. I could go whenever I wanted, but if I wanted a excuse to stay at home, I could. So that was awesome. Yeah, try Kings of War. Once you try that game system, it's like your eyes opening and seeing the light and saying, what? And then you realize how bad the old fantasy rules were written. It's just ridiculous. It's just plays by itself. It's so streamlined. Everything is fine. And again, it's a very tactical game. Yeah, since 6th edition Prince Imric, the rider has a horn. Yeah, that's the one I have for my High Elf Dragon. Yeah, I'm really happy with my edge highlighting actually with that model. Seems like a step up. Not from I've done those edge highlights for competition models, but doing them for a tutorial model has been something that I really enjoyed. It's been like and also being such a simple model, because it's beautiful and simple. It has just enough amount of detail that it's just such a pleasure to paint. It was one of those things. Yeah. So again, guys, any more questions? Please put them. In the meantime, for the new people here, why don't we just go and see that beautiful skeleton again? This is so hard. This is harder than you think, guys. Look at that. It's a beautiful model. Also, I'm really happy with the control recipes on the metallic details. We have 3 different metallic colors here. We have the scale mail, the shield, and the spear. 2 of them were base coated using iron hand steel, and 1 is base coated using canoptic alloy. And I will let you guess which one is which until the video is posted, because I'm not going to answer that question. And look at the back. We're so proud of that coat. That's a beautiful coat. But yeah. Tyrannosaur question: do you like any hobby painters who aren't ridiculously great? Yeah, I really like Pete the Wargamer's style. He's been progressing massively from just very basic paint jobs to, again, not extremely complicated paint jobs, but a bit more complex. But again, just simple techniques and simple implementation, but really nicely done. I've just saw a couple of days ago his how are they called, the tactical space marines, the only ones that don't have like bright shiny armor, raptors. Yeah, I saw some of his latest raptors painted, and they look really good, like absolutely stunning. Looks like he used, I have no idea if he did, but they look really similar to what Rob Paints Models was using for theirs, sorry. So yeah, they look very similar, and even to the point that I thought it was Rob's models and not Pete's, and it was a really surprise. It was a fantastically pleasant surprise that he really managed to do that kind of paint job, and it seems like he is painting them fast, which is awesome. Accent Star, which brushes do you recommend for beginners? That's a fantastic question. Did I miss any questions? Oh no, yes, I missed a couple of questions, sorry. I will get back to that. Austin Thornhill, do you ever have issues with lacking motivation to paint? Sometimes. I'm not like Vince Venturella, which is an absolute and total addict. I do have times when I don't have that motivation to paint, but it's not that I don't have, and I'm also that happens to you too. So it's just that you haven't realized it yet. It's not that you don't want to paint, it's that you don't want to start. And that is very important, because once I might be in that mood, but once I start painting and once I force myself to just sit down, maybe that's what is very important. I always tell people, just even if you don't want to paint, just sit down, half an hour a day, do a couple of base coats, just base coat a couple of details. And each and every single time that I've done that, I've been painting for 3 or 4 hours. It's just like that. It just happens. You really like painting. It's just that you don't like starting, and that happens to me a lot. So I really hope that helps you. Etheline, do you enjoy more painting small, medium, or large models? Small models. I love painting small models like infantry, like that skeleton. Let's look at the skeleton again. Look at that. It's beautiful. I really love painting the small models, and I really hate painting large models. Like, I just don't like painting large models. I've painted a few, of course, for my armies. I've painted 2 undead dragons, the Arcan and the vampire lady, which I don't know the name. I call them Lady and Lord Wobbly from Wobbleshire, If you have ever held those models in your hands, you will know why they are called Lord and Lady Wobbly. And I also painted the two, a couple of Littleman monsters and the two Morghast, and one big robot for my Asterion for Dead Zone. And yes, that wasn't fun. I really struggled. Even the only ones that were more or less bearable were the two Undead Dragons, because all the recipes were designed to be quick. But even with that, it's highlighting each and every single skull and each and every single bone was it was something that I just don't want to do again. So yeah. Yeah, small models for me, that would be awesome if I could just do small models. Okay, we are with you again, Accent Star. Which brushes do you recommend for beginners? I recommend the brushes that I use. The only brush that I used for painting this model has been the Rosemary & Co. Series 33, size 3. That's it. Everything is done with that. That's my go-to brush. It's super versatile, holds a ton of paint, has a nice sharp tip, and I really recommend people that start with a large brush instead of a very small brush, because if you learn how to, people that are new will have to learn to use the brush anyway. So if you learn to use a large brush from the very beginning, you will develop brush control so much faster than someone that uses a 5 zeros or a 10 zeros brush, which is ridiculously small. And you will get into very helpful habits about brush control again, and how to apply paint, how to load your brush, and all those kind of stuff. And you will have a very easier time later on than someone that starts with a small brush. So I really recommend. I really like Rosemary & Co. Series 33, so I recommend getting a size. I would probably recommend a new painter to get a size 1, a 3, and a 4, and I use the 3 the most, and force themselves to use the 3 all the time, and just use the 1 for those times where you just cannot fit a 3 through, because sometimes it's just too big. So that's my personal recommendation for brushes. And you have links to brushes in the description below, so go and check them out. It's of course an affiliate link, which I managed to get after a very long time of asking them, and they've finally done it. I'm really happy, so go and check it out. It's really worth it. Order some brushes and help me in the process. Yeah, Pete has excellent kit bash, says J. Carb. Yes, his channel has grown a lot since he started doing quite cool kit bashing, and I really get it, because he's doing a content that no one is doing, and I think he has found like a niche place to be, and that he is really comfortable with, and he does really well. And he just hit over 100k subs, and he just got his silver play button, which is awesome. I saw that on Facebook. I already congratulated him on that. But again, Pete, congratulations! It's well deserved, and I really hope you get the gold one day. Don't we all wish that? I don't know. I'm really not sure if any hobby channel will get to the 1 million subs. Probably it will at some point, but it's a slower demographic than the bigger channels are used to. So the only guys that probably, I think the guys that with the most subs are of course Miniac and Squidmar, which will probably get there because they do another type of content which has a broader audience, especially Squidmar. He does a broader audience type of content, more YouTuber, more classic YouTuber style than any of the other hobby YouTube's channels. So that's awesome for him. Yeah, it's Neferata, yeah. have you considered painting something that was about the Lady Wobbly model? Have you considered painting something for a smaller scale, like 10 millimeters? I'm just not interested. It's too small for me. I enjoy painting detail, and those are too small for me. I feel like 32 mils, which is more or less the scale that GW is doing now. Let me check. I think I will have a ruler here. Yeah, I have a ruler here. I'm going to measure this skeleton. And the skeleton is 32 mils. It's 31 mils from the feet to the eyes. So yeah, 32 mils is what GW is doing right now, and that's the scale that I'm comfortable with. And I'm personally really happy that the GW is doing kind of a scale creep that really fits me, and I really enjoy it. If you go and paint some older models, you really will see that they are really hard to paint sometimes. I really appreciate having more volume to work with. J. Carb, do you have any recommendations for great colors for space marines such as space sharks? Yes, I actually have I have an open post in my Patreon. You won't have to subscribe for it. Let me fetch it for you. It's an open post, and I did a recipe for the space sharks, actually. Let me see if I can find it for you, and I will put a link there. I really wish Patreon had a better search function. It's a bit annoying having to scroll down to find my own posts. It probably has a way of looking for them, but I haven't found it. Should be in the very beginning. There you go. I'm almost there. There you go. This is the follow that link, and you will have a written recipe for the space sharks. Hola, team. How are you, mate? Again, thank you very much for your support. Mark Jarvis, another hero. Hello, just joined the chat. Hello, Mark. Accent Star, for me as a 2D artist, it's the same. The first stroke is the hardest. Yes, it is. The first stroke is always the hardest. Once you get that ball rolling, that brush moving, you will remember immediately why you love painting models. It's just you need to do that first brush stroke. That's very true. Okay, team's asking a question. I have a big one today. How to paint raindrops on the surface? On a reflecting metal surface? I have no idea about that. That's a very complicated question. On the surface, you probably have two options. One is just using a gloss varnish and speckling it out onto the surface, but just I'm not sure that will look good, and I really don't like to use gloss varnishes to simulate the gloss. I like to paint the gloss myself. So if I really had to do, I will only probably do it for a bust. And it will have to be like a really big scale, otherwise it would be painful. But you can just basically freehand the drops in with the reflection and everything, but it will be so painful. That is really hard to do, Tim. You are asking like a high level painting question there. At least how I understand it, because you can just use gloss varnish, but if you really wanted a good effect, you'll probably have to freehand them, and that's just something that I don't want to do. Just what you can do is just look for drawing tutorials on drawing drops of water, and just do that very small. Just over whatever painting surface you have, you will have to get white probably, and a bit of black probably. It's just freehand that drop with the gradients and everything there, so it looks good. That is hard stuff to do. When we see some Dark Eldar, at some point, I want to paint them. As I was talking about a bit earlier, I have so many things lined up for painting that you wouldn't believe it. I have just in my table, and those are not just the only models that I have lined up. Just in my table, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects, and only one is started, which is the skeleton. The rest are just base coated, and I have other 3 or 4 stored, so built but not even primed, and stored in some place, one box around there. Oh, sorry, they are in my workshop because I prime in my workshop. So they are there waiting their turn. And then I have more coming because I have the Vampire Underworld Warband coming. So I will paint one of them once they arrive. But again, I just don't have time. Every race from both games will have a video, at least one video. That's the project, but when, I really don't know. Also, maybe you know, Tim is asking, also maybe you know some good reads about light for newbie painters. I would probably just recommend you go and check books about canvas painting and about drawing. Not really miniatures, just drawing and painting on canvas. That will really help you understand color. I think there is a book that Vince talked about quite some time ago about light. It's very famous. It's a very famous book about light and painting, but I just can't remember the name. Sorry. Teresa, another question. How long does it take you to paint one mini? For the videos, about 10 to 12 hours. That's just the painting. The skeleton was for sure about 12 hours. And for competition, whatever it takes. And I don't know. The Eldar Exarch that I have, they're waiting for the rest of the diorama to be built and painted. Took about, I don't know, month and a half just painting him, maybe a couple of months. That was intense. Oh, thank you very much, Synthesis. Yes, the main issue is that when you have a job and you do this on the side, it's really hard to find the time sometimes, because again, right now it's 20 past 11 during the night, and around when I'm painting for the videos, I usually start painting about the same time I have started this live stream, because that's just my free time. I usually have dinner with my wife and then start painting, and I usually stay up until 1 o'clock, some days even 2 o'clock in the morning, either painting or editing, and it's just too much work to be doing it every single day. So I have spaced my tutorials a bit more, so it just don't burn myself, which we don't want that. Yeah, Bob Ross is very basic. He is a great teacher. He made fantastic videos, but he was never a fantastic painter. He was just a fantastic teacher. I think he taught himself how to paint or something like that. It's a long story, but he's a fascinating character. And yes, look for his videos. He will teach you a lot about light and about basic painting techniques, which are really useful. Even if you are using acrylics, just understanding light and color, it's really helpful videos. And who doesn't love Bob Ross? I certainly do. Oh, Mark Atkinson, a very good question. I need tips for filling gaps on models. I feel like I'm just so bad at it. I just use green stuff. I know people don't like green stuff for filling gaps, mainly because I know it takes a bit more work to learn how to use green stuff. but green stuff will breach any gap, no problem. And you have any if you work and if you learn how to use it, you can do whatever you want with it. It's a fantastic medium to sculpt, and that's what I use. And if they are very small, like really tiny, not very deep lines, what I like to do is use a bit of gloss varnish. Just put a line of gloss varnish into that line, let it dry, and once it dries, I maybe need to do another 2 or 3 coats of that. But once you are finished, you should have almost no seam there. So paint will just hide it basically. Synthesis, yeah, and you have Synthesis, yeah, and you are very responsive on YouTube, and we already talked about over several Facebook groups. Just one of us with a lot of fashion. Yes, I'm very particular about that. For me, at least, I feel like if someone has taken their time, which as a self-employed person, my time for me is my most precious good. It's something that it has the highest value for me. So if someone has spent even just a couple of seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds to write a comment in one of my videos, for me the least I can do is just answer back. If I can immediately, if I not, maybe as fast as I can, because again, it's very precious for me. So for me, they are just giving me something very precious, and I just like to answer back, and I always like to be responsive and communicative, because that's I feel like a lot of content creators just post the video, and then just once the video is out, they just don't give a fuck. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. I really get it. It's a lot of work to answer all the comments, and it's a lot of work to read them all. But I feel like that's my duty as a content creator, is to interact with my audience. But I know that's not the common thing to do, and I'm not just talking about the hobby world. I'm talking about in a general sense of the YouTube community, which content creators just don't interact with their audience in the comments, and that's something that because they maybe just do it on Patreon, maybe just have their private servers or whatever. But I feel like I really like that. It's a part that I really enjoy. So yeah, thank you. Yes, of course, a blue back, because this is the P.A.B. This is the Painters Against Blue, and of course it will have to be. I will sporting my anti-blue T-shirt in white, which you can also find down below, and I have a blue background because that's the theme of this P.A.B. It's blue. So yeah, guys. If you have any more questions, please feel free to put them below. Keep posting them, and if you don't, I think okay. Yeah, the background music. I'm really happy with the background music that I chose. That background music was chosen for the very first video that I uploaded to the channel, which I think is still there. I'm not sure if I removed it. It's just me sculpting something. I can't remember if it was hair. I think it was the hair on a model. It was just me sculpting hair on a model. Just I think it's sped up. I didn't have any way of recording sound, and I just couldn't care. I thought that was really weird to be talking alone like I'm doing now in a room. You grow out of that quickly. But when you haven't done it before and you have a microphone in front of you, it's really hard. It's really weird to just start talking. It's not. People don't realize how hard it is. Again, you grow out of that fear quickly, but yeah. So I was looking for music that was easy to listen to, and it wouldn't be repetitive because that video was about half an hour, and something that wasn't really tiring. And I found that song and I stuck with it, but I just don't have the name. Someone will from the time someone finds it, and yeah. and says this is this or whatever name, and I just don't give a damn, and I forget about it 5 minutes later, because it's renamed as background in my computers. I can't remember. It's from the YouTube audio library if someone's interested. Yeah, Tim Lawrence it says there, I've tried to freehand some happy little skulls the other day, and now I feel sometimes recover. Freehand it's not difficult, or like regular painters call it painting. We really have a very weird hobby with painting something that is already sculpted. But yeah, if you ever say freehand to someone that that has studied art, they will probably give you around about 20 minutes and how that makes no sense, and that is not freehanding. And it really isn't. By the way, we use that term wrong. But I really get it's freehand for the miniature hobby painting, but it's not freehand for the painting community. Okay, a lot of questions. I'm really happy. When did you start painting miniatures? What got you into the hobby? I started painting miniatures when 5th edition Warhammer Fantasy came out, the Bretonnian and Listenmen box, which is really showing because my two favorite armies are Listenmen and Bretonnia. Weirdly enough, I started then, and I haven't stopped since. And it was a friend of mine in school. I can't remember how old I was. It was such a long time ago. I have a friend that one day brought a white dwarf to the school, and I thought it was extremely cool. And that same Christmas, I asked for that for to my parents, because I liked medieval style things. So that was awesome, and that's how the story began, basically. Okay, Kambik, I'm so glad to see you here. I love your views and engaging your audience. It makes it special. Thank you very much. I don't think like I'm special. I think like I do what everyone should do, at least, and that's what I do it really. I'm not interacting with my audience as much as I do because I want people to feel like I'm special. I do it because I think that's what we are supposed to do. That's the point of all this, at least from my point of view. Okay. Do you like to change your miniature bases? How often do you remove them? Do you do your own? No, I like to use the basic plastic GW bases, because I can glue my minis with plastic glue to them and makes them, they just won't come off. And then I just build with I'm not the guy to ask about basing. I do the most basic basing you will ever see. I have a playlist about basing. Go and check it out. It's just very basic stuff. So yeah, but again, I always use the stock bases. That's what I like. Jared, J. Kareb, question: any tips for controlling glazes when painting an MM? Thanks for the spectral recipe. Just as with everything else, glaze is something that you need to learn to control. Just doing practice. It's just practice. But try to, if you're having trouble with the glazing, with the glaze staying where you want it, unload your brush a bit in a paper towel before putting it into the model, so you don't have too much paint on your brush. I'm sure that will help you. And if that doesn't help you, use Lamian medium instead of water, just 100% Lamian medium, and that will really help you a lot. Synthas 1-1 total blue medium, followed with ultramarine blue, highlight with the finish. Oh yeah, that's for the ropes of your stomach. That's awesome. Yeah, that really sounds like a good recipe for me. Orbacus Shompo, can you remind me if you varnish your minis, and if so, what type of varnish spray do you prefer? For my armies, I use Monitorium varnish from Citadel. I've sprayed 2 full armies and 1 warband with that, and not a single problem. Again, a small disclaimer, I spray indoors, okay? So that's maybe not for you, but I have a workshop with very good ventilation, so I just spray indoors. I warm my can. I'm quite lucky because as I have a couple of 3D printers for work, and one of them is a very expensive one. When I bought it, I bought a curing chamber with it, which is also heated. So I use that curing chamber to heat my spray cans before using them. It's a fantastic tool for that. It's a great tool for curing your 3D prints too, but it's a great tool for warming your spray cans before using them. So I warm my can, I shake it very, very, very well, and I spray indoors always, because I rather have to bear the spray indoors than to have frosted minis. That's just something that no thank you. And for my display models, I usually use AK Interactive Ultra Matte Varnish. This is the only varnish you should use for display models, and I use this a lot. Like when I'm finished with one area, I probably do a one solid coat of this, just to see how everything sits, how all the colors feel, how all the transitions are, if I'm happy with it, and then I may have to do a couple of corrections, and I will varnish again and seal everything and keep moving through the next step. And if you paint this, let me explain that. If you paint display, you really want ultra matte varnish, because you want your painting to be the only light and shadows on the model. You don't want that satin paint reflecting lights where you don't want them to be. That's very important for display. Team Orange, what's the best way to speed paint NMM? I'm trying to batch paint a small in the stone external layering as well, blending for smooth. The best way to speed paint NMM will be to use something like Angel Giraldo uses. So a combination of, I will probably look into getting an airbrush and doing the first sketches of highlights with an airbrush, which will already give you quite of a blended look. So you will save on that. And then I will just add a bit more contrast with the brush and edge highlighting and rouge shading, and that should get you there fairly quickly. More than what you won't get the best result, but you will get a fairly nice result. But again, I'm not into speed painting, so I'm not the right guy for that. But I know Angel is an exceptionally fast painter, like ridiculously quick. So go and check his videos, and you will learn a lot. Can be. How do you decide which models to paint? And if Bretonnia is your favorite army, then why not videos with Bretonians? I do have videos with Bretonians. I have a couple of videos. If you watch my very first videos, this channel, I started doing painting videos because I was starting painting my Bretonian army, and I thought that would be a great idea. and then I stopped it because I stopped painting my Bretonian army. It's sitting there for since I started this channel, and I don't paint Bretonians now because they don't sell Bretonians anymore. That is the truth. So almost the amount of people that is going to go into Google and type how to paint Bretonian Knight versus the people that are going to go and type how to paint Lumineth, that's the difference there. So that's why I do it. It may sound like number crunching, but it's the truth. If you invest a full week of your sleep and your work in producing a video and then no one watches it, it's a bit discouraging. So I really like my videos to have the biggest lifespan possible. That's why I don't do clickbait shit, or why I don't do like trending content type of videos, because those videos have a limited lifespan and I don't like that. And how I decide which models to paint was if GW is releasing a new model, I usually, if I can get my hands on it, I will probably paint that as quickly as possible. And apart from that, models that I really like. So you will see very little dwarves because I don't like dwarves. And you will see a lot of elves because I love elves. Sergio Calvo, which Citadel color is the best and why is Rhinox Hide? Rhinox Hide is a very good color. Rhinox Hide, Rakarth Flesh, Mephiston Red. Probably if I have to say just one, it will be Mephiston Red. Mephiston Red is so good. But if all the Citadel Reds are really good. Corn Red, Mephiston Red, Evilson Scarlet is fantastic. Wild Rider Red, even if it is an orange, I really like. Those are outstanding red paints. I will probably say those are the best red paints you can buy right now, for me. And I have the Chimera set, and I still prefer Citadel Reds over that red. And it's very good red, but I just prefer the Citadel. I think they are better reds. Okay, Ryan says that the best GW paint is the Fang, which I have rarely used. It's not because it just doesn't fit with my color palette usually. But yeah, Citadel has some outstanding colors, like really, really, really good colors. Some of them, of course, like any other paint range, some of them are not that good, but for the most part, GW makes some fantastic paints. Tyrannosaur, I want to paint a desaturated red, but I can't figure out how to do that. With Corn Red, it turns purple. Yeah, desaturated red is very weird because a desaturated red is pink. That's really what desaturated red is. But I will try to highlight Corn Red using flesh tone instead of white, or instead of whatever color you are using. So try and highlight with a flesh tone. I think it will help you get that tone. Yes, try highlighting with a flesh tone. That's my advice on desaturating red. Is using a flesh tone. It's using you can use green for the shading, like a very dark green. And then you can use flesh tone for the highlights, and I think that will work really well. Run with scissors, yes, that's exactly what I was talking about. Just I'm not going to be the one to say it out loud. I'm not saying it's bad content, by the way. Just don't want hate. But saying it's not the content for me. It's outstanding content for YouTube. It's just not the content that I want to make. Long Wind. I find it difficult to paint with the color white. Right, I mean, paint to Reaper Vallejo is normal. That's because you're trying to paint with white. You should be painting with light grays, and white should only be used for the very last highlights, and you're having trouble with those last highlights, then you should stop using regular white acrylic and get white ink. This is FW from Daler-Rowney white ink, but you can also get Liquitex white ink, which is also fantastic, and that will solve all of your white issues once and for all. And if you want a more covering or thicker white, thin your white using white ink, and you will have no issues with that either. Yeah, Ramesistos has the answer that I was giving you. Yes, add green to the saturated for the shadows. Yeah, that's how you do it. Yes, and again, flesh tones instead of using white for the saturated reds. Yeah. Great job, guys. Great answers. What's the video you are most proud of? It's always the last one. That's it. It's always the last one. And I'm not joking. That's really the answer. Yeah, we don't have miniature painting reaction videos and drama. Yeah, I really hope the day doesn't come when that becomes a thing. For God's sake. Any tips for painting using a low saturated palette like the new Curse City box art? Yes, I have a video on the Curse City and I try to make it more desaturated. And the way I did it is starting from a Zenithal base coat using mechanical standard gray overall, and then using Grazier from the top, and that desaturates the contrast paints quite nicely. And then use more muted highlight colors instead of very intense ones. And the video is coming as soon as I can edit it, basically. Sergio, do you have any thoughts about milliput? I have milliput. I have a roll of sticks of milliput down there. It's a great putty. I just prefer green stuff. Milliput is fantastic because it dissolves with water. It's water soluble, so that's great for smoothing out details. It also makes making sharp details really easy, like armor panels or things like that. But I find this very hard to work with. I just have the hang of green stuff and just find milliput a bit off-putting to work with myself. No, team, that running doesn't come in dropper bottles. I put them in one. Can we get a collab session with you and Marco? I love Marco. He makes great content. He's a beast. He paints really well, and he's a great guy. And I would love to make something with him. But the problem with collabs is it's the same that I was talking about the trendy videos. It's how can I put it? It's prefabricated content. It's artificial because you have to get with a guy and you have to talk about, okay, what's the video that we can make that will get the most views, and that's really it. And I really like it. I made a collab with Tyrannosaur, which was awesome because he put everything so easy with me, and the guy is so nice. We just make a Discord call. We were just chatting through Discord with our cameras on, and he recorded everything, and it was great. I think it was about a couple hours just basically talking with him. It was such a great fun. I really liked it. But again, for the most part, it just turns into prefabricated artificial content. It's just something that I don't enjoy. I just prefer to make tutorials. Austin Phone, have you tried using a limited palette? Yes, I did for a long time while studying, and I hated it. I hated it with all my passion. That's why I use all the paints. And that's what I like. I like having all the paints. I hate limited palettes, not because they are not a very interesting tool, but because I work very hard and I can't buy paint, so I'm not going to mix if I can avoid it. Sorry. But yeah, it's a great tool to learn color. If you want to learn color theory and you want to learn how color works, it's a great tool. I already know that. I don't need to be miserable again, so I'm not going to use it. We have unboxings, but those are fun videos. Watching those allows me to live vicariously through over. Yeah, unboxings are great. Some people like them, some people don't. The people that do like them just watch them, and if the host is entertaining, the video will be great, and if the host is not entertaining, the video will be not good. And that's basically it. So it's, if you like the host, you will enjoy whatever content he makes. And that is just how this works. That's why people like, maybe not as much me, but I will. Although I do put myself in that category. People like Sorastro and things like that, and even P the Wargamer. We just show you how to do stuff. We don't make other content about just very particular things, very niche videos, really, and some people, and so we probably get less views, but the people that like what we do are really appreciative, and I really like that. And we don't get, one advantage of making the kind of content that we make is we don't get people outside of our interests, so we don't have a lot of shit comments and you know, that kind of thing that you see all across YouTube. We are like a very closed community, because what we do doesn't interest whatsoever other people. So we are. I'm basically very happy with what I'm doing. Attorneys or any technique we are excited to learn. Yeah, I do want to try oils, just because Vince Venturella makes a very good point about them, and he made a great video. I just need to find the time. I also just bought a couple of sets of Chimera, the mixed set. These are not single pigments. So the Danilo Kartaki set and the Michal Pisarski set, and I'm really excited to try those out. I don't know when I will be able to, but I'm really excited about them. I just found them in a random Spanish shop, and there's online, and I just bought them. And I'm really excited about giving them a try, especially following the NMM recipe, which we all know that that guy just makes the best NMM I've ever seen, and I just want to try that recipe that's in the pamphlet. So guys, we have been here for 1 hour and 20 minutes. So if you have any last questions, please let them in let them in the chat right now. This is your last chance, and if you don't, I will just go and watch a bit of TV with my wife, and let's try to go to sleep. And let's hope. I'm going to go to sleep with my fingers crossed, hoping for the supplies that are coming from Spellcraft to arrive tomorrow, which they promise that they will, so I can make the basis for my skeleton and finish editing the video. I started editing the video, I haven't started yet. Yeah, Ryan makes a very good point. When you move into oils, you have to really make a space for them, because you have oils and spirits and another palette. It may seem like it's not a lot, but it is a lot. So yeah, but I will give them a try at some point. It seems like a very interesting. So thank you guys, seems like we are finished. Thank you very much for watching, and again, as always, I will catch you in the next video, which remember will come next week. It will be this very sweet skeleton here. That dude will come next week at some point, along with a video about making his base or another base, and I will, because it's just very, and I will show you how to use slaughter models and the slaughter bases with the base that I'm going to do. I think that is a very good point to make. And apart from that, that's basically all. So I will see you in the next live stream video, which will be the Royal Retinue review, coming in the first week of May. So, as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.